Hello, hello, hello. I'm back. Been very busy, unable to take the time to do videos. Hopefully, everybody's had a good holidays. I know the holidays can suck sometimes, but hopefully, everybody has been able to keep it positive and fucking get through it. Could definitely be a pain in the ass, family in town and trying to navigate all that. For me, it just was a lot of busy shit with family and work and trying to get all that situated. So yeah, it's been nuts, but I've been working on this episode as much as I can in the meantime, and it's been fun digging through the old 7 inches. So this is Welcome to Hell, episode 24, the 7-inch Madness, volume 2. And of course, we are talking about Seraphic Decay Records. Let me go grab the logo. Didn't get that situated just yet. All right. So yeah, I was just going to go over some of the history that I have with the label, and back in the day, trying to get copies of these classic 7 inches. There we go. There is the logo that you might recognize. Everybody out there should recognize by now, the legendary Seraphic Decay Records. Now, keep in mind, this is my personal experience with Seraphic Decay Records. This is, some of it's going to be speculation, opinion. I have my own personal experiences with dealing with Steve and Seraphic Decay back in the day, and trying to get copies of these legendary slabs. So I know that everybody has their own opinion. There's a lot of rumors and bullshit out there, and you know, some people this and that, da 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 da, whatever. I'm just going to talk about my personal experience with how this all went down. And let's go back to 1990, right around there, when these 7 inches first started to come out. So obviously, the bands that Steve was able to grab are pretty legendary. I would say that Seraphic Decay probably has the most legendary talent, quote unquote, if you want to call it that, of underground death metal bands on the label. It was just like basically a who's who of the time, top notch shit, you know? So it was just, he's definitely should have been, if he wanted to make a career out of it, should have been an A&R guy at a label or something, work at a bigger label and get bands signed if he wanted to do that aspect of it. I mean, he really knew what was going on, what to put out, and we all just loved it, and it was exciting at the time because being a rabid demo tape collector, this was the next logical step was the vinyl, so 7-inches were kind of a new thing to me at the time. I mean, they were around, I seen the punk 7-inches at the record stores and stuff like that. And I didn't really get into like underground punk hardcore 7-inches until later in the 90s. In the mid to late 90s, I really got more into that. So the death metal 7-inches, that was new to me. I had seen them around, but I hadn't really started collecting them until 89, 90, maybe a little bit in 88 here and there, a couple. But, I was more into albums and CDs, and then, of course, demo tapes. And then, 7-inches came along, and it was just cool. And Seraphic Decay was just, like I said, it was just incredible, there was a lot of buzz around this label, and everybody was really excited to get these 7-inches, some of the best bands that we had in the underground at the time. Now, I want to get into a little bit about the execution of these 7-inches, because that needs to be said. Now, this is a legendary label, don't get me wrong. These bands are all top notch. A lot of it is just their demo at the time put on to vinyl, and that's fine because it was just cool having it, and then having a record version of it, was incredible. But the execution of the label was really horrible. People don't, I'll talk about these 7-inches, but, I found out through social media recently that Steve and a couple of friends of mine that I'm acquainted with on social media, they used to work for Steve apparently, and he was making covers at Kinko's and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, me and my buddy Bart from Extinction of God Fans, I mean, we were always at Kinko's and mom and pop copy places all the time, 24 hours a day, especially Kinko's was 24 hours. So a lot of times we're in there in the middle of the night making covers and doing the fanzine and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, we were a small DIY magazine and, tape distribution network. So having a label, print their covers at Kinko's and stuff like that, I mean, it made sense because, some of these covers were really bad. The layouts, I'll go over that. The quality of the paper, some of the paper is so bad it has changed color over the years. But I guess that's because if you actually put a gloss on paper, I've worked in the printing industry for a number of years, and from the late 90s into the mid 2000s, and I know paper definitely degrades, but if you put gloss on it, especially like a 7-inch cover, so if you take care of your vinyl, your sleeves, they should last, but yeah, some of the covers that Steve made were really, really bad. And then the one thing that really pissed everybody off at the time, I remember, was the vinyl variant coloring and stuff. And it was just like, dude, what is this guy doing? He had pinks and purples and orange, and he was make some of the covers that he made too. One of the Gothically 7-inches was like blue, weird blue, it was just weird. And some of the Mortician, not just the vinyl, the Mortician covers, it printed all these weird multicolors of the Mortician. I don't know if he did that on purpose, because I know I'll get into the whole story later, but I know Will was pretty pissed off, because, Mortician was one of the bands that got ripped off just like everybody else. And I know they were definitely looking for him, and maybe that was part of the reason why he did weird cover variants, weird vinyl color variants. I'm not even going to get into all that. It's just kind of irritating. When I was doing the research, I remembered that, and looking at some of my vinyl copies, just like shaking my head going, fuck, man. And the other thing too is that they sound okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, these are demos, straight on to vinyl, but the vinyl quality, even back then, it was even worse. Even today, black vinyl actually sounds better. That's what people don't understand. But everybody wants to collect the colored vinyl variants and all the different colors. The sound definitely isn't the same. So imagine back then, all these weird color variants or whatever. It's not even like some of these 7-inches sounded that great. I mean, don't get me wrong. What does it matter? It's a death metal demo, but still, it's just, unfortunately, there's a lot of overrated aspects about this label, and basically it's the stable of bands that he put out, and then the legendary, infamous reputation. I think that's why you go online on Discogs or eBay or whatever, and these 7-inches are $500, $1,000, whatever. There was even a current label that bought a collection of Seraphic Decay 7-inches and was like, okay, we got this, and it's gonna be a lot of money, but not as much as you would pay on other sites, and we're only going to release it to people that purchase from our label usually, and not it was some elitist bullshit. And I was just laughing, going, oh my God, and I just kind of took a peek on the website, and they were selling them for $100, $200 or whatever. It was kind of fucking laughable. Oh, we're giving you a discount. Holy shit, man. Unbelievable. And like I said, the quality of these things isn't the best. So I've always laughed. People, oh, I got the Incantation 7-inch. It's pink vinyl, and the cover is kind of old and tore up or whatever, but I paid $500 for it. No big deal. What the fuck, man? What's wrong with you people? But anyways, hey, who's the dumbass, right? I'm doing a show on this. So, but now, all jokes aside and shit talking or whatever, it's Seraphic Decay is a fascinating story. So we will get into it. But yeah, so back to, how discovered Seraphic Decay. So Bart and I were doing the fanzine. We're very active in tape trading. Obviously, I've discussed this on prior episodes. We don't need to get into all that again. So Seraphic Decay came along. We both wrote to Steve to order 7-inches, and we both ordered like the first 10, right? So, the Minch all the way through number 10, which was, I don't even remember, Abhorrence or whatever that was. Let's see. I forgot I got my list here. Yeah, Zysma, Abhorrence, Toxemia, actually probably Crusticon, Killing Addiction. Yeah, might have ordered even like 14 of them off the bat. And I mean, we were even ordering like 2 of each, because on the distro sheet, there was different vinyl variants and stuff like that, which, like I've said before, I wasn't ever really into all that, but we were getting copies for friends and also for our distro to sell at shows and stuff like that. So we were making, Bart was in contact with Steve. I think Bart was going to buy more. But anyways, long story short, we ordered the 7-inches. And I think Bart ordered his first, so he got his first. I ordered mine a couple days later, 2 or 3 days later, or whatever. And Bart got his complete box of stuff. And then I only got Minch and Rigor Mortis New York, who later, as everybody should know, changed to Immolation. And my covers were photocopied too. It was bizarre. I was, what the fuck, man? Where's all the other ones, And Bart was kind of laughing at me, busting my balls about it, yeah, real fucking asshole, And we were just kind of joking about it. So, I wrote Steve like, dude, oh, sorry, bro. The old sob story. Oh, dude, this and that. I promise I'll hook you up. And, I got the Sinister and some other stuff coming out, Necropsy, and I'm going to hook you up. All right. Got another Agothocles and, yeah, don't worry about it, bro. This and that. And I was like, okay, well, yeah. Also, like, what's up with those Xerox covers? Yeah, sorry, I ran out of covers, and I had to just do some quick Xerox ones just so I can fill orders, you know. All right, I didn't think much of it, you know, but then of course I never got any of that shit. You know, months passed. Back then you had to wait a while, you know. There was no instant gratification. So I never got my stuff. And then over the years, over the following years, I was able to, with Bart's help, with other people, some of the bands, you know, because I became friends with, you know, Will Romer, Chris Gamble from Goraphobia, the Immolation guys. I was able to get assistance, and even my friends that ran George from Torch Records, George Solis, and of course Richard at Wild Rags. I worked there, and he was laughing at me. Oh yeah, fucking Steve's an idiot, you know, because I guess Richard probably got into the same thing with him, and so I was able to hunt down pretty much all the key 7-inches, you know, the first 20 or whatever. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So over that following years, like, you know, 90 through, I want to say the mid 90s, I finally got most of the Seraphic Decay collection at that point, just through friends and connections and stuff like that. So that was awesome. And then, you know, I had got ripped off. You know, back then 7-inches were like between $3 and $5. So it wasn't like a huge amount of money, but still, you know, being a stupid kid, you know, fucking asshole, you know, just having to deal with all that. So yeah, that's my introduction to Seraphic Decay Records. In the meantime, I will get into the interview that we did with Steve for Extinction of God. This was in the middle of all this stuff, so obviously we didn't put Steve in the fanzine when we realized that he was a complete ripoff and full of shit. You know, we were working with him. Bart got his stuff. I was gonna get my stuff, and you know, he was still putting out killer stuff, and he was pretty much appeasing the bands at that point. And then I'll go over a little bit about the interview, about, you know, what he said and whatnot, which appeared in one of the books that came out. Another buddy of mine, Dima, over in Europe, wrote a book about Seraphic Decay Records. So we're going to get into all that stuff. So let's fucking go. All right, so real quick, this is an example. I'm not going to bust out the stupid vinyl colors and whatnot. I mean, look at that. That is, I remember talking to Will over the phone. He was so fucking pissed off. Bart and I were laughing. Will wanted to beat the shit out of Steve from Seraphic at this point. So he was, you know, you look at, I mean, come on, man. You know, maybe in this day and age, you know, you'd have Mortician vinyl that looks like that, but we're talking 1990. This is the fucking Mortician demo, and this is the color scheme that you're using. I mean, hey, man, maybe I'm just old fashioned or something. I'm fucking old school, right? Fucking fuck me. But that's fucking retarded. And I mean, that's probably the worst, you know, with the multicolor sticker and the fucking, oh man, it just fucking didn't fit. You know, we were just confused. What the fuck is this guy doing over there? You know, it was just, what the fuck is going on? But that's just a fucking example. That's all I'm gonna, as far as the stupid vinyl colors, that's it. Not gonna fucking talk about it. So that's what you get. I'm so fucking pissed off about one of the aspects of these Seraphic Decay 7-inches is these stupid colors and the stickers and all that shit. So that's all I want to talk. That's the example, and that's all it's going to be. So sorry if you're looking to, you know, you want to look at this stuff. You can go on Discogs and you fucking spend 2-3 hours looking at all the stupid fucking versions and colors that he put out or whatnot. So hey, again, this is my opinion on the label. I love the fucking label. You know, just because of the bottom line is this, these bands and releases are just completely fucking classic. I mean, that's indisputable. You know, it's just fucking totally fucking classic and deserves all the love in that sense. But what I'm saying is that it's not quite as brutal or perfect as it really could have been, you know, if the first of all, Steve wasn't a dipshit, I guess, and had his shit together, you know, because the funny thing, we'll talk about the interview that we did with him where he is kind of talking shit, you know, on the bands and kind of blaming them for the reputation that he was achieving at the time. And this wasn't even the prime ripoff era, you know. That's when, and the funny thing too is like the bands were all complaining, and I became friends with a lot of these people, and they're all honest, hardworking, trustworthy human beings. So when you have that many fucking artists that you're working with complaining about you, then move that over a little bit, get my fan out of the way. They're complaining about you like that. Just come on, man. You know, and you're going to blame the fucking bands for not turning in stuff on time and whatnot. What does that have to do with sending people the proper order, giving them what they ordered, and real covers too, not Xerox bullshit. I mean, even Kinko's, oh, you didn't want to pay extra money for a color printout of the fucking covers, so you get fucking Xerox bullshit, you know? So the other thing too is that we ended up getting the sampler CD. I wanted to get into this before I forgot, before we actually get into the vinyl, which obviously that's what everybody wants to see and talk about or whatever. But there was a CD sampler of this, and there's a lot of rumors that this is like a Mexican bootleg or this and that. There was different color variants of this cover too. I've seen a red one, a yellow one. The yellow one I've seen more than anything, but he probably just Xeroxed a black and white for this. And I think he sent Bart a box of these to kind of pass out. So that's what we were doing. And of course we kept one for ourselves. And I was pretty stoked when I found this. And here is the back. So that's mine. Like that's what I have. It's the black and white one. So I don't know what's up with the Seraphic Decay Dolphin. I always cracked up. And yeah, he always threw, oh, we're distributed by Nuclear Blast. So that was on the back covers of a lot of the 7 inches too and stuff. But hey, like I said, Abhorrence, Acrosticon, Gorephobia, Toxemia, Disgrace, and Midge. I mean, you can't beat that. You know, 6 of the top fucking killer classic bands on here. So it was a great sampler, you know, so fucking still play it. You know, luckily the CD quality is still good. Was able to take good care of it. So really haven't seen it for a long time. So, you know, luckily it was stashed away in a box. So it survived the madness throughout the years. And then I found some random stuff. This is like a flyer that was in, you know, a mailer flyer that we were, I think this might even been one of the first flyers that we got because it's Incantation, Mortician, Durketa, Gorephobia, Rigor Mortis. So it's like his first few releases. Minch isn't on there, but that was like a different thing. And then this is something that we made for the fanzine. We were helping him out, you know, coming soon. This was the next batch of releases, and it was weird, you know, Grave and Rotting Christ and Nunslaughter on there, but they never ended up working with Steve. They probably realized he was a dipshit and were smart and backed out of there, or just, you know, did some other stuff. Obviously, Nunslaughter is legendary in their own right in the underground, and then Grave and Rotting Christ went big time on big labels and whatnot. And and then this was cool too. There was just a little. This came with the Sinister 7-inch that he put out later. I found that too, like a little T-shirt ad. Pretty cool. And then we printed out some other stuff to help him out. This is like it's hard to see. It's a red version of the classic Seraphic Decay Records ad. And then here's a black and white one. This was running in a lot of fanzines. And I think we put this on like a back cover ad, full page. put that on the back cover, the inside back cover. So some cool stuff. And let's see. Here's the book I was talking about real quick before I forget too. So my friend Dima wrote Music from the Death Factory. The shitty part is that Bart and I were supposed to get copies of this book, but we never did. I hit up Dima on social media and he hasn't responded. So I don't know what's going on with that, but hopefully I can get a hold of him soon. I don't know if he checks his messages or what's going on with him, but we never did get our copies. I don't even remember when this came out. It was a couple years ago, probably at this point. Really cool though. You know, he goes over the history and everything. And then he has a label as well. So it came with the re-release of the Sinister 7-inch and the Death Yell 7-inch, 2 classics. And then there's the printouts of the ads, the ones I just showed you. And then there's the book. It came with the tote bag, and I don't know what that is in the bottom right. I didn't get my package, so I can't tell you. Sorry. But yeah, no, killer stuff. I know that people were pretty stoked about it. But here's this is the Seraphic Decay interview that Bart did with Steve. And yeah, I mean, like I said, this was like towards the beginning of the relationship with them and like in the middle before he really, you know, he talks about it. Bart hit him up straight up like, hey, what's with why is everybody talking shit? You know, what's going on? And then he tries to defend himself saying, oh, well, the band's turned in all this stuff late, you know, and all this bullshit or whatever, you know, it's just complete bullshit. And then he's just kind of cocky about everything. Oh, you know, Incantation re-released their stuff on Relapse and sales have increased since all the shit talking and the drama and this and that. And ha ha ha. And Dakota was, you know, it's just a bunch of bullshit. And he's saying that because of this, the sales are increased and the pressings and da 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 da. You know, so yeah, I was just looking back on it. You know, I was getting pissed. Obviously, I was just like, fuck, what a waste. But that's so that's the interview that we did with him, and apparently it's, and we put the little ads in there for him and some logos and the layout or whatnot. Apparently, from what Dima told me, this is the only interview that Steve ever did. So Extinction of God literally had the only interview ever with Seraphic Decay Records. So I was just like, I guess that makes sense. You know, it was kind of surprising, but at the same time, it's like, well, you know, he started out on fire with all these amazing bands and releases, but then shit hit the fan when you know, the product was just bizarre. Like I said, Xeroxed covers, and even the color, some of the actual color covers were just bad quality, you know. And then later I find out he's at Kinko's making this stuff on a color copier out in the public. You know, he's not having it professionally pressed like everyone else. So I don't know what the fuck was going on with this guy. You know, he's taking everybody's money and half filling orders, and you know, it was fucking confusing. And then don't even get me started on the fucking the vinyl variant colors, man. Like I said, I'm not supposed to talk about it, right? I said I wasn't going to. I showed that stupid Mortician variant there, and that's it. That's all we're going to talk. But anyways, you know, it's just part of the story. Like I said, how do you take such a brutal, crushing classic like the Mortician demo and put it on really shitty baby blue vinyl and a weird multicolored pink, yellow, lime green, you know, vinyl sticker? And then you have the Mortician logo on that. And let's one more time, bring it up one more time. Come on, man. I mean, I should have known something was wrong with this fucking dude at this point. You know, you do something like that, there's something going on. Something's going on, man. It just, that ain't right. That ain't right. So let's get into, I think we covered everything. If I miss a couple things, I apologize. You can always hit me up in the YouTube comments or send me a message if you know me, or if you really know me, send me a text and we can discuss it. If you got any questions about any of these releases or the history or whatever, I just basically, I'm throwing this together pretty quickly. Like I said, I've been working on it behind the scenes for a bit, actually, this little by little here and there when I can, but hopefully I don't forget some of the stuff I wanted to cover. But yeah, let's get into the actual releases now, because we got a lot to cover. So I'm going to try to blast through it as much as I can. And like I've said, I got nailed with stupid ass copyright YouTube bullshit with the Thrash Records video. So I'm not going to play any songs, unfortunately. I'm going to duck that for a little bit until I figure something out. I actually have a plan for some radio show stuff in the future for the Welcome to Hell channel, but I'll get into that. Today we're talking about Seraphic Decay, so let's get into the releases. All right, real quick too. So I think I mentioned that our the interview with Steve, Seraphic Decay, is in the Music from the Death Factory book. So anybody out there that has that book, like I said, unfortunately, I don't have a copy yet. Hopefully I get one at some point. But anybody out there that has the book and that's read it, let me know what you think of the interview that Bart did with Steve. And, I'm curious, see what the opinions are on that. But we're going to start off with the Mighty Minch. I posted this online. Now, some of these records actually ended up, I talked about some of my stuff getting waterlogged because there was an accident at a house I was living at back in the 1994. And some of my records were down by this washing machine, and there was a flood in the condo that I was living at. I wasn't there. My records were sitting in the hallway right there because I was moving out. And yeah, sucks. So some of these old sleeves or whatever are kind of dirty and fucked up, and I was trying to clean them or whatever. But I was able to find new sleeves for a lot of my old 7-inches. So thanks to my buddy Mike of Bionic Records, he showed me a site where you can actually buy 7-inch vinyl sleeves in bulk. So I was stoked on that, because some of these, like I said, some of these 7-inch sleeves are pretty filthy and whatnot. And, trying to clean them, I'll probably recycle them with certain stuff. But the Seraphic Decay, most of the Seraphic Decay stuff, I was able to put some new sleeves on there. So that's cool. Everything fit. And I'm just a fucking nerd like that. So once I was handling, I was like, oh, god damn, these things are fucking dirty as shit. So just trying to clean everything up. I was like, I got the new sleeves. Anyways, here is my shitty Xerox Minch. This is Scam 001. And ironically, that's what that's the catalog number for these was Scam. That fits because he's a fucking scam artist, right? So, funny shit, right? Scam, am I right? So yeah, there's the back, trying to get the glare off of there. The Mighty Minch. Classic grind noise, hilarious stuff. This is scored this a couple years later. This is the actual real cover and the full color, whatever, multicolor. Yeah, Sam Mozzarella and Jim Lasagna, two legends of Ohio, Parma's finest. So this is my buddy, rest in peace, Jim Sadist. You know him from Nunslaughter, one of the best humans to ever walk the earth. We all miss him. And that was his Grind Noise project. Grind Noise was really, really fucking cool in the underground back in the late 80s, early 90s. And there was a lot of bands blowing up. I mean, that's where Anal Cunt came from, Meat Shits, Minch, 7 Minutes of Nausea, all kinds of, even Rotting Christ actually started off as a grind noise band. They're split with Sound Pollution. And yeah, there was a lot of fucking, Cripple Bastards was coming out doing similar type of stuff. And The best is on this Minch recording is Jim is playing a dryer. So he's banging on a dryer blast beats. You know, it's just fucking one of the, this is one of my most prized possessions for sure. Not only because Jim was involved, but it was just so much fun. And Bart and I would fucking spin this fucking beast constantly, and we were playing it for everybody. Wore it the fuck out. And yeah, just total classic. Well, we had to fucking play Bart's cover out there. Well, I did have my Xeroxed shitty version or whatever, but I would begrudgingly I would play that at the house, all pissed off. But it's an all timer, you know, miniature bitch, and you know that's fucking classic song. Latzamoza, yeah, just fucking classic stuff. Hilarious if you're into that type of grind noise stuff, then this is a benchmark Bible release. Definitely up there. One of my all-time favorites. Completely fucking classic. And then we'll move on to Rigor Mortis Scam 002. This is my shitty Xeroxed version cover. And then for some reason he would do this from time to time where he just put the big ass Seraphic Decay logo on the back of the fucking 7-inch. I could just never figure that out. Why he would do that. It just looks so fucking horrible. You know, I mean, it's cool. You know, at the time I go, oh, cool. And then you look back on it going, yeah, this sucks. Luckily he corrected it. This is the actual version. Cool little skull down there. And then a band photo of the boys. Later became Immolation. Killer shit. I mean, it's you know, the kind of the bridge death metal stuff where it's kind of has that early death, possessed, you know, even somewhat of a Slayer Bathory vibe to it. And good shit, man. Good shit. So those first two releases were something else, you know. It was a good way to get people interested, kick the label off. I mean, I know that obviously the bands we're going to discuss, the next few bands we're going to discuss are much more legendary. I mean, you know, Rigor Mortis became Immolation, so that's pretty legendary. But yeah, the Minch is hilarious. So there's Sam and Jim there. Got some weird little photos instead of band pictures. Just fucking always thought that was awesome. And that was fucking cool how they did that. Sam Mozzarella and Jim Lasagna. Classic. And then there's the Rigor Mortis guys. Bob right there. And then there's Tom. So Dave and Sack. Sack was a pretty legendary figure too, from what I remember. I didn't know him, but I think he'd been in a couple bands after this, I think, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, Bob and Tom went on to Immolation, ran into Ross, and they got that going. So good stuff. Good way to kick it off. So then the next, this is when they really started getting heavy duty. Incantation, Entrapment of Evil. Pretty fucking crushing stuff. Obviously, one of the most influential bands around right now. This is the original cover, so pretty fucking outstanding. And this is the demo on wax. So, I mean, Incantation doesn't really need an introduction, you know. Absolutely fucking crushing evil death metal. You know, one of the most important and influential bands out there. John's still at it. And still doing it. The demo and this 7-inch pretty much kickstarted everything. So incredible stuff. Let me show the band photos. Interesting. So I ended up writing to, I've discussed this before. I ended up finding out about Revenant from New Jersey and ended up, there was 2 addresses on there, Henry and John. And a lot of times, we were nerds. We would write to both people, Ross and Bob, Ross and Bob from Immolation, Anders and Johnny from Unleashed, John and Veg from Revenant, stuff like that. So if there was a couple addresses that way, because sometimes, both guys might be tape traders. If they have their address on the info, a lot of times they would be into stuff too. So it was always cool to trade with different people. Maybe John had some stuff, Veg had some other stuff, but John ended up being really, really into the underground. And he made me a list of stuff to look out for. And then got me connected with Will Romer there. He's the singer for Incantation on this stuff. The first singer. And classic stuff. So yeah, and then obviously we'll talk about Mortician here shortly. John played on the Mortician demo as well. So they were helping each other out with their bands, And then Will wanted to focus on Mortician. John wanted to focus on Incantation. And obviously the rest is history. John was working with Profanatica too, because I think Paul Ledney was in an early version of Incantation. John was jamming in Profanatica. So yeah, New Jersey was pretty tight with everybody. But yeah, this fucking Entrapment of Evil, I mean, like I said, it's the Incantation demo on wax. So enough said. This band doesn't need an introduction. Scam 003, definitely an all-timer. And that leads us to Scam 004, which is the legendary Mortician 7-inch. Again, this is the demo on wax. Classic stuff. And this kick-started it all for Mortician. And obviously both bands are super legendary. Mortician is very influential on the death grind scene. Just like Incantation is on the death metal scene. So yeah, Steve, like I said, don't take anything away from Steve as far as like finding bands to work with. He knew talent for sure. I mean, I guess it wasn't too hard to figure out like what bands had a big buzz about them. And obviously these bands here, Incantation and Mortician, had a buzz. And there's John there on the left, John McEntee with the death shirt. There's Matt, rest in peace, the original drummer. And then there's Will in the nuclear death shirt on the right. Looks like they're hanging out in Will's bedroom over in Yonkers. And Round Hill in Yonkers, still there. Fuck yeah. I know that address very well. I used to write to Will all the time. And actually just got a package from him and had the same address on there. Ordered some Mortician CDs last year. So Will still has some of the best service in the business. I got my shit real quick. Anyways. Yeah, so there's the guys. Classic photo. 3-song Mortician demo on wax. Can't beat it. The funny thing too, though, as I was listening to these old records, the fucking demo tapes have better fucking sound than some of these things, because just Steve's quality is just fuck, man. It's just really at the end of the day, these things are legendary. Don't get me wrong, but It's more of a nostalgia, just a collector's nerd fucking thing, to me, because again, and it's not like 7-inch records really have the best quality. I mean, I guess some of the jukeboxes that used to, they're still around periodically, but back in the day in the 50s and 60s, the jukeboxes would play the 45s and whatnot. It would sound pretty good, But yeah, these maybe not so much. But regardless, it's unbelievably classic. And, does it need to be said that these slabs are unreal and among my all-time favorite releases, and it's just cool to go through this stuff and go over it and go back down memory lane, check these things out. So that was quite a first 4 records for Seraphic Decay, I would say, huh? I'm sure that you would all agree. Pretty much a unbelievable start to the label to be able to put this stuff out, and it continued with Derketa. I'm sorry, let me get the logo out there. There we go. Try to get the glare off. Yep. Classic stuff. Fucking glare. Again, this is the demo. And here is the photo of the ladies. Still chat with Sharon periodically. Haven't chatted with her in a while, but she's awesome. And Terry too. I actually met Sharon and Terry in Pittsburgh in 2010 when Gravehill was on tour. Actually, when we were on John McEntee's label, Ibex Moon, we did a tour. Incantation played that show too. So there was a lot of legendary figures in the room that night. And because Jim Sadis showed up, and our friend Lou from Manticore showed up, drove a crazy 17-hour drive from some work site he was doing all the way out to hang out with us and stuff, man. Fucking, we love you, Lou. But Jim too. We fucking love and miss you, buddy. And then Sharon and Terry were there with Mary from Derketa, who was awesome. She wasn't in the band for this era, but so Terry and Sharon were awesome, hanging out with them. Then I hung out with Sharon the next year in 2011 when Gravehill played Maryland Death Fest. Sharon was there because Acrosticon, I don't know if Acrosticon played, but I know that Corinne, the singer of Acrosticon, we'll talk about them in a bit, but she was out here hanging out at Maryland Death Fest. So it was interesting. And you got 2 brutal ladies right there. And then Jill from Funerus was also hanging with them. So there was like 3 brutal ladies, man, and death metal singers, the heavy duty, heavier than most fucking dudes and as far as growls go. So that was cool hanging with Corinne, Sharon, and Jill. And but yeah, this Derketa 7-inch fucking rules. Premature Burial and Eternal Misery from the demo. Scam 005. So Derketa is a legendary band. I don't know if they ever really broke up, but they definitely, were on hiatus for quite a bit. And then in Death We Meet, or whatever that album was years later, came out, was fucking amazing. It's like they just started where they left off back in the day. And let's see, I just want to make sure that my information is correct here as far as the songs on this 7-inch. So it's actually 2 songs from the demo. Yeah, so it's 2 songs from the demo. The demo had 4 songs. So I was thinking the Unholy Ground demo had 4 songs. It had more than 2. But they put the 2 songs on here, which actually, sound-wise, this Derketa, to me, has a better sound because when you try to cram a bunch of minutes of songs onto vinyl, the sound starts to get a little bit condensed. So some of these 7 inches have like 3 songs on a side, and maybe even, depending, they cram more on there. So the 7 inches that Seraphic Decay did that had the less songs on it, if it was just 2, it had a much better sound, at least to my ears. And that's how it works these days with vinyl production as well. If you talk to vinyl manufacturers, you have what, like 6 minutes aside on a 7-inch, and anything over that, it starts to condense the sound a little bit. This one is, I think it's under 5 minutes on each side. Maybe it might be around 6 because, they're kind of doomy, a little bit longer. But yeah, the Drachetta has one of the better sounds for sure. So classic, legendary death metal ladies for sure. Didn't have a lot of ladies back in the day doing this, so there are definitely many more these days, but it's still usually a bunch of smelly dudes playing this music. All right, let's move on. Let's move on, shall we? What am I dropping here? Dropping stuff. Here is Gorophobia, Morbidius Pathology. Classic stuff. And this is unfortunately an example of putting a big old Seraphic Decay thing on the back. At least he didn't put the logo. It's just typed out. But I mean, that's cool. The Gorophobia logo up there. It's badass. But still, it's just like, come on, dude. I don't know why he would do that. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know if he ran out of artwork or something. I have no idea. No band photo, maybe. I don't know. There are just basic inserts on these. That was another disappointing thing about Seraphic Decay. The inserts weren't really all that great. It's like Thrash Records had a lot of cool inserts in the 7 inches. I mean, there was basic ones here, like lyrics and stuff like that. But there wasn't really a lot of cool band photos or anything like that. Live shots, nothing like that. But here's a close-up of that. That's just, come on, dude. Scam 006. And unbelievable. This is one of the best death metal demos ever recorded, for sure. One of my all-time favorites, easily. Just the paper on here is kind of bizarre too. It's kind of like this weird lime green color. I know that there was quite a few different variants of this. I was talking about the Mortician earlier. I know that at one point Will and Steve really got into it, and I know Will went out there to Ohio to beat his ass. It was a funny story. I was actually talking to Will on the phone. He was telling me, yeah, I'm going to go do it. I was like, good. Yeah. Cause he ripped me off too. Oh, fuck. I'm going to hit him even harder for you, bro. So, it's like, and I don't know if Steve, like I said, purposely, if you look online and look at some of the shit on Discogs with the versions, the Mortician's out of control. I mean, he was doing multicolored covers and, oh man, it just looked awful. And like I said, the vinyl variant colors were bad enough. It was just unbelievable. But either way, there was a few versions of the Gorophobia. I ended up getting the greenish one or whatever. So That's all that matters. And it's the demo on wax again, which is great. So that's the classic stuff. Agoraphobia, from Philly, and part of that whole Eastern Seaboard explosion, I call it, back in the day, all the killer bands that were coming out of the area of the East Coast. You see some of those legendary flyers. So, classic shit. All right, next up is Disgrace, Debt of Gods. Classic stuff. This is the all-time death metal nerd status achieved for me on this one here, because normally I don't collect different variants, covers, or whatever. As long as I have the set one, I'm good. But this one was interesting because there was some different covers, because then eventually there was this cover too. So I was able to run across that. Then there was a red cover of the basic, first one. And then there was a shitty black and white. It was just Xeroxed and shitty or whatever, but I ran across it. It was, and I think when I got it, my friend was like, "Oh, I happen to have like the other 3 variants, because I had the original just black and white." That one, and then ended up getting those others, and don't ask me why. So yeah, this is the basic one, and there was from what I understand too, there was more than just the red, but I didn't even bother with that. It kind of was like dumb luck that I was able to run across getting the other variants. So this is the first one that I got, and then here's the color, and then there's the shitty black and white version of that, and then there was like a red, maybe green and blue version of this one or whatever. He was fucking around with the covers on the Disgrace for whatever reason. Not sure why that was special, but I'm a big Disgrace fan anyways back then, so it was cool to get copies of all that. But now this is a classic. This is the introduction to Finland from Seraphic Decay. So this was the first time that people were hearing the Finnish stuff coming out. So some of the Americans that were into the death metal underground, this might have been, if you're buying stuff from Seraphic Decay, this might be the first time that you heard stuff from Finland was Disgrace. And that's a good introduction, because Disgrace was fucking awesome, So this was actually not a demo. Let me double check on that. My apologies. Just want to make sure my information's right. So let's see, there we go. Yeah, Depths of God. Yeah, these songs made the rounds, but they were pretty much wondering if this recording was specifically for the 7-inch or not. But they're short and sweet, though. The sound's pretty good on this 7-inch. You didn't try to cram a bunch of stuff. Like, for instance, I was talking about that before. The Incantation 7-inch, as awesome as it is, the sound quality of that one, you cram the whole 4-song demo on there. And Incan, they get into it. They got some signature changes, like a roller coaster, slow, fast, So it's still fucking killer, don't get me wrong, but the sound, suffers. That Decay's got like a nice full sound on it. And the Disgrace sounds good too because, it's basically 6 minutes aside. So you fucking get into that deep nerd shit like that. But yeah, classic Finnish death metal. All-time stuff. Moving on. Let's see. Oh, my Disgrace 7 inches. Get this situated here. Everybody knows who Agothocles is. Trying to get this glare off of there. If this is cool, what is vivisection then? Classic stuff. There's the boys. Glare's killing me today. That's a cool picture, though. Cool band photo. Scam 008. Sorry if I'm not remembering to say the Scam catalog number each time, but we're on 8 now. So, yeah, Gothicles doesn't need an introduction. There's memes about their massive discography and the number of splits and EPs that they have. But classic Belgian grindcore band. Love them. All-timer. And yeah, this 7 inch is fucking badass. I mean, at this point, these Agothocles tracks, they're all over the place. They're everywhere on tapes and records and CDs and 7 inches. And let me just bring up the back cover. That's a cool photo. Everybody check the photo out. Looks like they're in their jam space. Just fucking getting ready to grind it up. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that up there real quick. But it's like I talked about before, you go into fanzines back in the day and extreme bands of all different genres were all in the same fanzines together, and that's just how it was. And Agothocles was right up there with all these death metal bands in the same magazines, same compilation tapes, the whole thing. I'm sure they were gigging with some death metal bands back then. So good stuff. Now, next up, we got a pretty legendary 7 inch Zeisma when they were still heavy duty. This is the Fata Morgana. Scam 009. That's a bad glare there. Classic stuff. No band photo or anything like that, so I won't bother with it. Now, I think these songs were definitely specifically for this at the time. But great stuff. This is all-time classic 7 inch. Some people actually, this is their favorite thing that they've done. I mean, I like the Swarming of the Maggots demo. Got my Swarming of the Maggots shirt on today in tribute to Zeisma. Yeah, I brought that up a long time ago in one of the episodes and was able to fucking hunt this shirt down. So cool. Bonus fact. Bonus deal. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. 2 songs of fucking crushing brutality. Fucking all-timer. Steve knew what he was doing as far as like what bands to grab for sure. It's just it's a shame how it ended up, But what are you gonna do? Next up, number 10. Abhorrence fucking rules. This might be my favorite out of the entire Seraphic Decay catalog. It's hard to see some of the type because the text is retarded on this blue. Let me bring that up. But yeah, this is like one of the most crushing all-time releases ever. Heavy as fuck. One of my top, probably 5 favorite 7-inches. The sound is a little lacking, like I said, because they're, Steve was cramming 4 songs onto a 7-inch, but regardless, it's still fucking amazing. Don't get me, like I said, these 7-inches are fucking phenomenal and amazing, regardless. But definitely fucking crushes either way. And this was a great way to close out the original 10. I mean, you can't go wrong with that lineup. That's why you can see, looking back, why we were all fucking just totally shocked and excited at this madness that was going on, I mean, a lot of us had heard of these bands before, obviously, writing to them and whatnot. And it was just so cool to be able to put our hands, on a slab like this with these legendary bands. So I want to make sure I get the catalog numbers right now, because I know there's some skipping around that's going to be coming up, and I'll explain a little bit of that in a bit. Okay, so yeah, we're going in order now. So this is Toxemia, Beyond the Realm. It's an all-timer. Fucking kind of a weird cover, kind of cool though. But yeah, the colors are a little bizarre. There's the boys. I'll bring that up. I like to, grab some band photos if I can find them. These cats. This is what we all looked like back then. We had hair. Some of these fuckers still have hair. Bastards. There we go. All right, let me bring it up here. Chilling in Sweden. There's Steve-O. That's my pen pal buddy there. So here's another 4 songs. Throwing it on the slab there. Heavy Duty. You got already covered these guys before and did a demo stacks on them. Fucking love them. Classic Swedish death metal. So don't really need to get into, I'm not getting too crazy into the backgrounds of some of these bands. By this time, everybody knew who they were, and now everybody especially knows who they are. If there might be an obscure one people aren't familiar with, I might talk about them a little bit more, but everybody knows who these bands are or whatnot. So we don't need to get into too much of a bio about them. But yeah, it's heavy duty stuff. This kicked off the next group, 11 moving forward. Fucking classic stuff, just like the other ones. And great having some Swedish stuff. I just realized that too. There was a nice Finnish run there with Disgrace, Zeisma, and Aberrance right there. And then Gothically's in there too. But yeah, that's brutal, man. That's some brutal shit right there. All right. Just grab my box here. Next up, The Aberrant from Norway. Death Rides at Dawn. I dig this one. This is killer. Obviously, this is a little bit more of an obscure band. Let me grab the back cover. I got a cool band photo right there. So sometimes Steve had his shit together. Like I said, I don't understand why he put the label logo so huge on the back. But again, who knows? Maybe the bands didn't supply a band photo or something. I have no idea. But there's the boys there in Norway. And classic stuff. Norwegian death metal, not as known or as popular, not much of an explosion as the other Scandinavians, you know, the Swedes and the Finns, but Norway had a killer scene in the underground. So it's got a typical sound. You know, I'm going to do a demo stacks episode on this band, so I'll get more into their history and whatnot in that episode. And talk about them and go over their history and whatnot. So I'm going to do a Norwegian death metal special demo stacks episode coming up in the future. So we'll be chatting about them and give Norway some love when it comes to death metal, because there was definitely, I got my setup here. My box is kind of far. Maybe I should bring it a little closer, but yeah, you don't mind me getting close to the camera. Acrosticon, Lost Remembrance. This is a fucking classic. This is Corinne. I was talking about her earlier. She's awesome. And good stuff. Good stuff. Steve went over to the Netherlands for this one. This was the first band from that region that he grabbed. And this is Scam 13. Classic stuff. Heavy duty. This was a killer band. I always thought they were somewhat underrated. Heavy duty stuff. You know, Netherlands had an amazing scene as well. And again, I got a demo stacks episode coming about that country as well. Doing a lot of countries, doing American cities, states. Actually, sorry, not cities, states. States of America as well. Some good stuff planned. But yeah, man, I mean, like I said, here's 13 deep, and holy shit. You know what I mean? It's like a who's who, right? That's why Seraphic Decay is so legendary. And actually, the layout on this, the paper is pretty good. Pretty good. The sound's pretty good. So got lucky on this one. But that's Scam 13 Acrosticon. Moving right along. We're going to Florida. Let's see. I don't know if you've maniacs have heard Killing Addiction. The Necrospear. Definitely dig it. There's the guys. Get the glare off of there, but I'll end up just, like I said, with the band photos, I'll just grab an image for you. Killing Addiction was a killer Florida death metal band. There's another one that I will. They're going to be part of the Florida Death Metal Stacks episode. There's the boys there. Pretty cool layout on this one. It's almost like Steve almost started getting his shit together on these releases here. Because the quality was a little better, the sound. I don't remember if he did other variants on this one or not. But as far as the covers or whatnot, I've only seen the green one. I think that was about it. Killing Addiction's kind of more of a cult band too. They're a fucking killer, but a little bit more unknown compared to some of these other bands. At the same time, the heavy hitters, they were moving on to bigger labels and doing tours and whatnot. So I know that, and then obviously Steve's reputation was bad at this point. So I think he was finding deeper underground talent, because Diaborant and Killing Addiction were not as known as some of the other bands discussed earlier in the first 10 releases. But regardless, this is a fucking classic 7-inch. Killing Addiction, fucking killer Floridian death metal. And then, here's where things start jumping around a little bit. Just make sure I got track of everything here. So just want to make sure I got the the Killing Addiction was Scam 14. And then Scam 16. I got this next. We'll just cover it. If we got to jump around a little bit, not a big deal. Let's see. Grab a couple of these to get them in order. I've covered Morpheus before. Now Morpheus Descends. They're still at it. Killer fucking band. But here's the Abitaceri 7-inch. Still not sure if I'm even pronouncing that correctly, but classic fucking eerie, slow fucking prodding death metal. Good stuff. Good stuff. There's the boys. I'll bring that image up. Yeah, this is... At the time, they're a little bit more unknown, but they were, as far as I was concerned, they're competing with the big boys. Killer fucking band. Let's see here. There we go. Sorry, this was a lot to prepare for, so trying to get caught up on all this stuff. There we go. So there's the guys there. I think most of those guys are in the band still. That's great. Yeah, this is classic. This is actually, it's a weird one too, because it's got 2 records and then there's like an etched side 4. So there's side A, side B, and side C. And then the side D is just etched or whatnot. But it's not even really anything special. Like these days they put picture disc or something like that, but it's not even anything like that. But yeah, it was just a basic record on the side D or whatever. It was blank. I guess he couldn't fit all 5 songs on, one slab. So did an extra one. That was all new at the time too. I can't really knock Steve for not doing some sort of etching, picture disc type thing. You know what I mean? Some logo, screen printed, other side or whatever. Now it's all fancy these days. If they have something like that, they do the flip side. They'll do some sort of image or, screen print, picture disc, so something weird. I guess they have more fancy technology for that stuff, but it was interesting. You know, the quality of the vinyl and the paper is definitely more on this as well. Obviously, it's a little heavier too, so that was cool because you got 2 records that came with it. So killer stuff. Now the I Stole is a release that he had put out, and I don't remember. I don't have that. I don't remember that band at all. I don't remember even getting that, if I ever got that or not. I didn't see it in my collection. So that is one that I don't have, and I couldn't even tell you much about that band. I don't remember them, so I didn't worry too much about it. You know, there's still some killer stuff coming up in the collection. I'll move the box a little closer. There we go. So yeah. Let's see. Next up, we got a killer fucking band. All right. Mighty Sinister. Fuck yeah. So, you know, he was still obviously working with some killer fucking bands here. You know, maybe not as known as the first 10, but Sinister is fucking legendary. Fucking legendary death metal band. Great stuff. I know most of you should be familiar with them. There's the boys hanging out. Let me find that image too. Another crazy killer band from the Netherlands. Legendary stuff. And of course, they're still at it. I think there's only one original member. I think Mike. But there they are. Mighty Odd on drums. Odd. But yeah, this is 3 of the demo songs. From the classic demo, the Sinister demo, and killer stuff. There's Mike's address up there. Fuck yeah. Over in Holland. Used to write to him. Killer dude. And again, the quality on this section of releases is actually pretty good. And he wasn't fucking around with the variants as much either, so that's probably a good thing as well. But this is, you know, having the classic demo Sinister, you know, songs on a 7-inch is just fucking incredible. But, you know, it's just kind of some of these releases too. Like, I mean, look at that. The border, just weird. There's a white border around it. I mean, I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole here. What's that Poison Idea album? You know, record collectors or pretentious assholes, right? But some of the layout stuff is just questionable. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? It's just fucking weird, you know? And I've seen on the re-release that Dima did, you know, the logo's in a different spot. So I don't know. Maybe that's the original. That's how it should have been or whatever. That's how mine looks like. You know, some of the quality on some of these sleeves, like I said, it looks like Steve was drunk at Kinko's in the middle of the night, just fucking using a color copier that was out of ink. So I don't know what the fuck was going on, but we're going to jump into the next one real quick. And this is the second Minch 7-inch. Fucking still grinding and doing some classic stuff. Fucking funnier than shit. And I believe, I mean, at some point, my buddy Steve Eggs jumped into Minch and was jamming with them. I don't know if he played on this because this just says Sam and Jim. But yeah, just fucking more of the fucking madness from the boys. It's hilarious. Hilarious stuff. Great classic grind noise stuff, you know? So I don't know. I haven't seen this much around. I haven't seen people talk about this much. And even the first Minch, it's an acquired taste, I guess, you know? And we will round out the original Seraphic Decay stuff. Now, another great Finnish band. And this is Necropsy. Again, I'm trying to turn it so the glare's not hitting, so I keep seeing the glare. So this is great stuff. Heavy, heavy, heavy duty Finnish death metal. And my boy Tony used to write to Tony, the bass player. So, like I said, Steve, you know, as far as getting the right bands to put out, he was almost genius at that. But I guess, you know, the other thing too, so I was thinking about as I was, you know, researching this show and grabbing all these old records, was that a lot of the bands, don't want to say that they're desperate, but they were definitely aggressive with trying to get their music out there, you know? So I guess it wouldn't be too hard if you got like a hungry death metal band that is trying to get their name known and put out their stuff, you know? So I don't know. It's just, regardless, I know that this label has quite the reputation, and not all of it is great, right? Most of it's bad, actually. Yet here I am doing a show talking about it. There's a book written about it. The roster is insane. So if you look at it in a positive aspect, it's pretty fucking incredible. You know, it's just that, you know, and it very well may be that, you know, Steve was an okay dude. I think maybe he just got in over his head, you know. But obviously with the interview that he did with us and the shit talking he did some of the friends of mine, you know, the bad reputation is warranted and deserved. So now there was a couple other things that Steve had put out I did not get. One of them was the Demigod Necropsy split LP, and I was never able to get a hold of that. I don't even think I ordered it. There's also the Blood of Christ 7-inch, which I was talking to one of my friends online. I think he played in that band too. And I had that, and I'm not really sure what happened to it. I wasn't able to find it with this go around. If I hunt it down, I'll throw it into one of the other episodes that I do. But I was unable to find that. And I think Steve also put out the Agothicles demo on tape. I already had that, you know, writing to Jan and whatnot, tape traders and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't need that specific release. But what ended up happening was, let's see, let me just double check this stuff. Actually, the Superation 7-inch. There we go. Get that glare. This is an old plastic sleeve. It's actually one of the cleaner ones that I have. This is the original that it came in. But this is a Seraphic Decay release. What is the catalog number on that? Let me look that up real quick. Bear with me. But yeah, Superation is a killer French death metal band. So this was a cool slab that I got. I just had to look up the catalog number. He did some jumping around, unfortunately, with the releases. So the catalog numbers kind of jumped around a little bit. I just wanted to make sure that we get that right. So I'm a fucking nerd like that. The other thing too is like there's a couple releases like the Messiah Paratroops. I didn't even fucking bother with that. There was a band called Absurd. Never got that. So didn't really care about getting that one. So I think Superation helped put this out, possibly. But this is actually, see, that's where it gets confusing. Scam 032. So this is the 32nd release or so. Yeah, it's just kind of bizarre. Did some jumping around or whatever. Let me get the back cover real quick. I wanted to get the Seraphic Decay stuff handled before I jumped into this other stuff I was going to talk about. So yeah, there's the back cover of the Superation. So yeah, I mean, you know, by this time Steve was going through all this craziness and his reputation was tarnished and fucked, and you know, probably running out of people to work with. You know, the bands, everybody knew by that time in the underground, you know, because enough people were getting ripped off, and some people he wouldn't rip off, some people he would. Unfortunately, I was one of them. But you know, once word spread, you were fucked, because then there's like full page ads out ragging on him and stuff like that. I remember people trying to kick the shit out of him, like Will, you know. And again, you know, he put a lot of this upon himself, unfortunately, because as you can, you know, as I was talking about in the interview that we did with him, you know, he was kind of running his mouth a little bit. It's a regular generic insert here. But what are you going to do? Shit happens, and, you know, you reap what you sow, and then shit will catch up to you. So I'm not going to go in order with this stuff here. So what ended up happening is I think Seraphic Decay kind of started circling the drain at one point. Steve, now this is my speculation. I don't know this to be factual, so this is what I would, you know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out, though, you know. But he was running out of people to work with, or bands, and he ended up at one point changing the name of the label to Skin Drill Records. Let's see here. So this is Monastery. Killer fucking band. They did the split with Anarchist, did their own stuff, and I ended up writing to Lars Rosenberg. He ended up joining Entombed. But this is one of his early bands with the guys from Sinister. Got it going here. So there's the Skin Drill Records logo there at the bottom. Here, let me bring up the image. This is a picture. Yeah, it looks like he did some different color variants of this. Mine is kind of a off green or something, you know. So there's the Skin Drill Records logo down there. But yeah, this is it's, you know, he put the logos on the back for to sell some records or something. I thought that was kind of funny. So the Monastery logo's up top, then he's got, you know, Ron and Odd from Sinister there, and then Lars in Entombed on bass and vocals. kind of comical, but let's see. Where is the Skin Drill logo? Find that sucker. Not that it really fucking matters. Guess you guys saw it already. I won't worry about it. Yeah, we'll grab it. Why not? Stupid logo. It's not even a very good scan of it either. Let's see. Let's see if I can bring it up here. So yeah, he ended up changing the name of the logo to try to sneak past people or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's the stupid logo. Same address. A member of the Seraphic Decay family? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. You know, obviously, actually, he put it out there that it was actually part of the Seraphic Decay family. Decided to do a sub-label or whatever, but no, fucking Monasteries, they're a killer. This is a fucking totally fucking killer 7-inch. Also, there was only like 4 releases on Skin Drill or whatever, but the Mordicus 7-inch, fucking great band. Killer stuff. Absolutely fucking horrible back cover. It's like pink. Skin. I mean, just what the fuck was this guy thinking? You know? Don't even get me started on the vinyl color. Again, I'm not going to fucking talk about it. But 3-way dissection. This is one of definitely fucking. It's interesting too, because I mean, this is just as good as any of the first 10 classics of the Seraphic Decay stuff, you know, but fucking heavy finished death metal. And let's see. Sorry, I gotta figure out the catalog number for y'all here. Oh yeah, this is the Skin Drill stuff. Never mind. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's on the back here. Yeah, he would put the catalog number on the. Sometimes he'd put it on the release. Sometimes he wouldn't. It'd be very confusing. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I didn't really care, but yeah, no, this is fucking all time. This is definitely one of my favorite releases of all time. Heavy duty stuff. And then another release was the Agathocles, however you want to say it. Putrid Fall split. The Putrid Fall, he almost cut the logo off on the top. That's the type of stupid nerd shit that I'd noticed, but still, you know what I mean? It's like you're going to put the Agathocles in a good spot, and then you cut the top of the Putrid, you know, it's just fucking dude, man. Scam 0022 or 022, sorry. 020. This one, yeah, it's all over the place. Very confusing. And then the last of the brutality. Oh, Death Yell. And this is the Vengeance demo on wax. Yeah, I didn't even want to show the back of that Mordicus. There wasn't a band photo anyways, but that's just ridiculous. That's the type of shit that, you know, when we saw that, what the fuck is this guy doing? Pretty sorry. But yeah, I had some other random stuff mixed in with this stuff, unfortunately. So that's you see me flipping around with some of these 7-inches. There was some other stuff that wasn't Seraphic Decay that got mixed up with my group, but that's all right. I was kind of in a hurry today to get this posted because, you know, I wanted to get this out. All right, let's see. Where's the Death Yell? Okay. Got to show the picture of the boys. So yeah, Death Yell ruled. Classic band. Yeah, this is the Vengeance from Darkness. That's what it was. I remember Vengeance. Vengeance from Darkness. All-timer. Death Yell's a legendary band. They also did the they did that split with Beharit. Classic Chilean black death thrash, you know. So this was a really killer way to end all this. Tried to cover as much as I could. That's pretty much the collection that I have between Seraphic Decay and Skin Drill. And again, I don't know why he started the sub-label Skin Drill. You know, again, we don't know why he did a lot of the stuff that he did. It's very frustrating. So it's like it was there, you know, it was there to be the ultimate label, which in a few ways he achieved that. You know, Seraphic Decay is just a legendary label, but there's all this other random bullshit attached to it. So it just fucks everything up. You know, it's almost like, yeah, you're in the Hall of Fame, but you know, you didn't fucking do it the right way. You know, you fucking fumbled. You fucking blew it. You crashed the fucking goddamn Ferrari, dude. All you needed to fucking do is get to point A to point B and do it the right way, and you fucked it up. You know, kind of funny too. Like, I think it was my buddy Enrique, former Sadistic Intent vocalist, sings for Lurking Terror now, and he had Gothic Records and used to trade with Steve. And it was funny. He was telling me, yeah, you know, Steve was good for a bit. You know, we traded. I always got everything, and then he ripped me off for the last box of 57 inches. He just kind of blew me off, and that was it. So, you know, he was good until the last 57 inches. I was joking with Enrique, we should make a fucking shirt, you know, Seraphic Decay logo on the front and the back. He was good until the last 57 inches. So, yeah, just fucking unreal roster of killer underground death metal bands for the time, you know, and just unprecedented for the most part, you know. I mean, Thrash Records is fucking legendary, and that, you know, that, like the show that I did, it's pretty fucking impressive, right? Seraphic Decay is the ultimate, but the combination of the quality of the paper, the weird Xerox stuff, going to Kinko's, making covers, the vinyl variants, the stupid stickers on the vinyl, ripping people off, obviously, is the big one. Ripping the bands off is the worst, you know. Just what a weird history, you know. I mean, that's why I'm doing a show about it, and that's why there's a book written about it. You know, so, and I guess Bart and I should be honored that, you know, we did the only interview with him, and it wasn't even that great of an interview. It's only like one page, and all he's, you know, is kind of defending himself and whatnot. Like I said, if you have the book and you're able to read the interview, let me know what you thought about it. It's pretty generic. You know, there wasn't really much to talk about. He just kind of talked about the label a little bit, defended himself on his reputation, and then kind of was kind of a dick about everything. Like, oh, you know, fucking increased sales anyways. Oh, the bands are lying, you know, bullshit. So anyways, that was the Seraphic Decay Records episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna try to be posting a little bit more on here. But you know, the funny thing too, I just realized that my name is misspelled on this video. Mike Abominatior. It's the sausage fingers. I don't think you guys care. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed Welcome to Hell, episode 24, 7-Inch Madness, volume 2, Seraphic Decay Records. I am Mike Abominator. Going to be signing out. So, yeah, like I said, going to have some cool stuff coming up. I'll try to post as much as I can. I'm still very busy. We're working on the Ruin album behind the scenes too, doing the tracking on that, trying to get that situated. So, but yeah, this was awesome. You know, it took a long time to put this together, and that kind of sucks. But you know, hey, this is basically a glorified public access show. So this is DIY. That's why, you know, Mike Abominator. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. If you got any questions about anything else to do with any of these releases, if you want to watch any videos of me listening to these live and commenting on them, maybe that's a way to play music in the background and avoid the YouTube copyright bullshit. But I don't know. And like I said before, let me know if anybody had got the book Music from the Death Factory from Dima. I know, you know, he's in Europe. It's expensive. I don't even know if there's any left. That was 2-3 years ago. So I wasn't able to get one. Bart and I never got one, unfortunately. But our interview's in there. I want to know what you guys think about it. It's kind of comical. So some decent shit talking. But until next time, episode 25 coming up. I actually got a cool interview that I'm going to be doing with a local friend of mine. So that might be the next post. I don't know if I can sneak one in next weekend prior to that. But yeah, in a couple weeks, I'll be chatting with them, and it'll be a fun interview. So until then, like I said, happy holidays, all you crazy fuckers. Hopefully everyone's doing well, and keep your mind right. Focused on the good shit. Don't worry about the bad shit. Get all that out of your head. All right. Signing off. Thank you. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this, talk about it, spread it around. This is the Seraphic Decay episode. See you next time, fuckers. Later.